Hi guys, and would you believe this is after I've fixed the lighting? My idea of fixing the lighting is to grab the closest materials using only the light in the room. So as you see, I've got the door open here. It's a bit of a mess. And just in case there is some sort of copyright in the music, this is what I have on in the background. Okay, it's forte piano and harpsichord because I don't like too much quiet. Anyway, yeah, it's Thanksgiving Day, and here I am saying, I haven't done anything for quite a while. Does anyone really need an update from me? I know there are people who actually do watch. Anyway, it's Miss Chester here, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a chat. Totally unscripted, and I have my coffee, which is now cold, with the amusing senior mug here. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that cost like I think $1.59. Anyway, I was reading on Facebook, which is what I do, and I came across a post. I subscribe to a lot of different pages. I'm subscribed to something called Cold Hands, which is a mortician, and of course, the Deathling Den. And I'm getting ads in my secondary email for mortuary racks. Well, this is what it is. So, yeah, so what I'm talking about now, sort of, is this thing I read. It's like, grief can go along with gratitude. And, we've had a couple of really crappy years. I'm not going to discuss, there are certain words that one can no longer use on YouTube, such as abuse of a certain kind, which is now called SA. And when one does away with one's physical self, you cannot use that S word. There's a lot of stuff. I was going to put on here as my thumbnail a picture of me and my grandma. I have a picture from when I'm still in the high chair age with the turkey leg, and my grandma's sitting there. My grandma is probably not that much older than I am, but of course it's the early 60s, and she looks like the stereotypical cartoon old lady with the thick ankles and the cane and the crotchetiness. And I'm like, no, I better not do that, because they're funny about putting pictures of children up too, which is understandable. There's a lot of exploitation videos with kids, both, of the SA nature and what they call family vloggers. Family vloggers are a very big deal, and I want to use that to seg into a couple of things I was watching over the last year or so. I've been watching the Dad Challenge podcast, which is a guy up in Canada who is trying to take down these family vloggers for basically putting their underage children up for clout and for money. I'm no longer watching him because I don't agree with him about Kyle Rittenhouse. This is not unusual for me to disagree about stuff after a while. I've also been watching a lot of true crime. I've been watching the Gabby Petito case. Gabby and Brian actually do come from this area where I am, in Long Island, and I've watched some really good, some really interesting people. A couple of podcasts I want to recommend is something called No Thanks Investigation. This fellow named Doug, and then I was watching a lady from I guess it's East in the UK, called Michelle. She does two channels, Michelle Walks and Michelle After Dark. And I've been watching Dan Bell. Dan Bell has had a lot of mental health challenges, and he has a series called Another Dirty Room. He's the guy who also brought to us the Dead Mall series, and he's been doing podcasts. He's been doing live streams from his car in the Baltimore and other areas. I strongly suggest if you like watching a guy, just like hanging around taking a ride, which I no longer do, hanging around taking a ride for a couple of hours, you go to his pages. He also has a Patreon, and there's a lot of people out there, a lot of really really good creators, honest, funny, who are like up on things. As for myself, I haven't done a whole lot of anything lately. I do have another surgery. Yes, I do. I have cataract surgery coming up next month. And I do have a pair of bionic glasses over here, which I'm going to reach for anyway. Yeah, so they're going to correct the right eye my vision is extremely bad. So they're going to make the right eye half as nearsighted as it is now, and at some point the left eye will be ready for surgery. So in the meantime, I'm going to have wonky vision. And other than that, I haven't done a whole lot of anything this year. I say this year, I probably posted somewhere in the summer. I don't know. Did get to New York a couple times. Did get to see the cherry blossoms in the botanical gardens, where I hadn't been for like, I don't know, at least 40 years, close to 50. It's crazy when you get to be this age, you know. And again, looking at pictures of my grandmother when she was my age, she really did look like hell. I have never fixed my eyebrows. Someday, perhaps I shall. Anyway, I want to talk about gratitude. This year, we've all probably known people who've lost people. I've lost a good friend, which is, I feel guilty about this. I used to work with her in the at the Board of Elections, and hadn't seen her for a while because I know her health wasn't up to it. And so I called the other day. Her husband answers and tells me she died in April. Yeah, I should have called her sooner. Yeah, it's what my daughter and I call the Alan Rickman effect. You have to see people before they die, because we're going to see Alan Rickman in something Chekhovian in Brooklyn, and we decided not to, and then he passed away not too long after. So one must do these things while one must do these things. Unfortunately, out here in Zone 12, we don't have a whole lot of railroad transportation. Literally during the week, if you don't go at 1 in the afternoon or 9 at night, or during the two hours of commuting each way, you are stuck out here. You have to drive miles and miles actually to get to a proper train. So I haven't been doing anything like that lately. However, I just got a subscription to New York Magazine, so hopefully I will be prying myself out of this seat and doing more stuff as the weather progresses. I don't go to Broadway, but I do go to other shows. And what else? Well, back to the gratitude I haven't discussed. Well, like I said, a lot of people have lost people this year. And I've lost an in-law and my good friend from the Board of Elections. And as this crazy ass area where I am continues to be so polarized regarding still that there was an election fraud, and there are people having worked as an election worker during these crazy times, and still in this crazy area, which really is a lot more red than it is purple. You wonder. And I also belong to when you go to the elections and you see these ladies sitting there, they're not all Republicans, because right now they have an overabundance of Democrats. Republicans have decided that they don't believe in the elections, so they don't want to work anymore. Yeah. And then everyone hands you their license, and when you say you don't need photo ID, they go well, you should have photo ID. And we had some real crazies. Real crazies. We have people coming in wearing all sorts of foul, right-wing, anti-Biden clothing, which now they are evidently allowed to wear as long as the back of your t-shirt doesn't tell you how to vote. The front of the t-shirt can basically have or your cap or your mask can have whatever the hell you want on it. So I don't argue. And then I hang out with my liberal friends on Saturday, and we hang out in Bellport, and we have a guitar, and we hold up, the peace flags, and people honk, because we're in that kind of area, again, literally 10 minutes from here, where it's mostly blue. And is that right? Yeah. It leans to the left. This is your left. That's my right. Leans to the left instead of the right. And then I have my foaming at the mouth liberal friend who sees no good whatsoever in anybody who's not where she is. Here I am talking about people. And then she's trying to persuade one of our younger anarchist friends, oh no, you'll have children someday. I'm saying, no, you don't need to have children someday. You talk to people, and you wonder, how they've lived their lives. And I personally am delighted not to have any grandchildren because I am selfish. And the people I hang out with actually are single and pretty much never have married. I know I've said that before, but children can take up a lot of time, and if you're not prepared to raise a person, and if you're not prepared to put all your energy in there, you shouldn't do it. And it just so happens that we have a family that does not include at the moment any grandchildren, and we have had the inclusivity of different kinds in our world. I found myself explaining to people in my dreams exactly where I'm at, because right now I'm talking to a Jehovah's Witness, and we have Bible study on Wednesday. And, it's interesting, and I'm agreeing, and now she's starting to talk about false religion. Well, it's funny, because again, do as the Romans. So when you talk to her, you say Jehovah instead of God. And if you're talking to somebody else, whatever. And then I have the people from Reiki who are still into the universe. I have been through the Chex Mix of religions in my 60 plus years. Wow, it's after 11 minutes. So let's get back to what I was going to say. It's Thanksgiving, and I was listening to NPR, which I do. I stopped giving money to them though, because they're not they're too, I don't know how to describe them. Christopher Guesty. Same reason I don't belong to the board of the peace group. It's just too Christopher Guesty. And they had this whole thing about, Thanksgiving travel. Will you vaccinate your child? Will you go here? Will you go there? Hey, just stay home if you can. Just stay the hell home. Americans are very, very used to doing what they want, when they want. As you've noticed over the last couple of years, with people like slamming each other about the head for other people wearing masks. And both sides, I'm not trying to be equal here, both sides have been pretty nasty, and there's no reason for that. It's going to take a long time to get back to where we were. Were we ever? Maybe we've always been this shitty, but we just haven't been this vocal. And I try to, you should see my block list on Facebook. I try to maintain humor, and now my posts are mostly about cute cats and funny puns and lovely nature things, because that's how it is. And so I will be talking to you probably after my surgery, which is next month. And I also don't know what to do about the hair. As you see, it's getting gray again here. I have blue, and I have like flamingo pinkish orange in the closet. I forgot about the blue. I'm going to do something with it after I get my eye figured out, when I have to sit home, because it's going to take like literally a month for the eye to figure out how it's focusing. And they said, don't get new glasses for at least 4 weeks. It'll be interesting. Right now I can still drive. I can still drive. I hate when people in movies misemphasize things. That's another thing one does when one gets older. One notices when one watches these really crappy movies, which I watch an awful lot of on Tubi, and also YouTube. Check it out for like all the noirs and stuff. I'm also listening to a podcast called Kicking the Seat, which are these younger guys talking about movies. They recently were talking about Nightmare Alley, which is going to be remade. It's being remade. I did actually go to the movies a couple weeks ago. May get back into going to the movies, because us old people get a discount. And, well, anyway, I want to thank everybody who bothered to listen, and hoping that the pianoforte music doesn't get me taken off here. And hope everybody who is able to, obviously, if you're watching me, you have some sort of way to watch me, so I hope you're all doing as well as can be expected this year. And it doesn't hurt for Americans to lower their personal expectations, let me put it that way. That as long as you've got a warm place, and I have three cats now that I'm feeding. Um, and you just remember those less fortunate, whether they be on two legs or four. And it's 15 minutes, and that's more than enough. So thank you again. It's going to take me probably 3 hours to upload this because I have El Cheapo internet. So enjoying myself. This is Mrs. Chester wishing y'all a happy whatever you're eating today.